Professor Stanley Goldman covered the Simpson trial for the national media outlets, and he has no relation, I say this because of the name, he has no relation to the murder victim Ron Goldman. The professor is with me now. Did Judge Lance Ito, did he just lose control of it? Did he allow this to become a media circus?
Well, one point, by the way, although I'm not related, when I used to go sit in on the trial, the sheriffs would sit me with the Goldman family because they would see my name and I'd end up sitting next to them. So I did have a feeling of a lot of emotion for what the family was going through, sitting right there in the trial, listening to the evidence at one point when the autopsy picture of their son was projected on the very large screen in the courtroom at the time. I was sitting next to his sister, and she couldn't look at the screen and was simply crying. So I wasn't a member of the family, but there were times when I thought I was. But I don't know if Lance Ito lost control. Look, I'd gone to college with Lance Ito. He was best friends with one of my best friends. And it's not that I had any particular sympathy for him beyond any other judge. I'd appeared in that courtroom myself in the 8 years I'd been a public defender in downtown Los Angeles. I tried murder cases in that courtroom. And Lance, if he had any fault, was that he tried to be fair, impeccably fair. And you wonder why the jury came back so quickly after an 8.5-month trial. I think one of the reasons was the prosecution believed jurors had lied in order to get on the jury and were actually pro-defense when they wouldn't admit it. So during the course of the trial, they tried to remove one at a time jurors they felt were pro-defense jurors. And they were allowed to. Ito let them. But what they forgot was that Ito was trying to be so fair and balanced. The defense would come up with some argument about someone who they thought was pro-prosecution had done something wrong, and then they'd throw them off. And by the time you got to the end of the case, there was only one alternate left, almost had to have a mistrial. But also, a lot of the strong personalities on the jury had been removed. And you came up with a very quick verdict at the end, I think, because a couple of strong people believed the defense.
So this is an awful question to ask anybody after a jury has given a verdict, but it's a long time ago. Did the jury, in your view, did the jury come to a verdict that was justified on the evidence?
Today, no. I say this because we forget 30 years ago when this case was tried, it was the first case I'd ever sat through with DNA evidence. And the prosecution had done such a thorough job that they'd sent the same pieces of DNA evidence through as many as 3 completely separate and distinct processes. And by using the product theory, multiplying those out, which you can, you'd come out with 1 in 6 billion chance it wasn't the person who they identified it as being. And back then, the jurors didn't understand the compelling nature of DNA evidence, which now has been used to release hundreds of innocent men and women from prison for crimes they didn't commit. But back then, it was a foreign thing just to be sort of taken in the balance. So if that trial were taking place today, it would clearly be a miscarriage of justice. I think in terms of a guilty man being acquitted, I think at the time, it didn't seem as great a problem.
So were you in court at the moment of the gloves?
One of the great disappointments of my life is I was supposed to be in court that day. I was on my way to court. I turned around and said, it looks like a boring science day. I think I'll go to my office and get some work done. I got to tell you, I've never said this on broadcast television. I worked with the defense. One of the defense lawyers was a former colleague of mine. And he called me up early in the case and said, they found this bloody glove on OJ's property. We're trying to keep it out of evidence. Could you review what I've written? Because that was my specialty at the time. That was what I was teaching. So I spent a couple of days, with him on this. And then they contacted me later and said, by the way, would you like to, do more for the defense team? And I said, no, I'm happy not being OJ's lawyer. But what happened in that case was they were trying to keep it out of evidence, the bloody glove. And it was a very close call, and Ito ruled it admissible. And talk about, unintended consequences. I think the prosecution would have a much better chance of winning that trial had that glove been excluded and my motion granted.
The final thought, this case defined in many ways the way in which court TV, the way in which we now are obsessed by these things. Did you get the feeling at the time that this was a groundbreaker?
Yes, because TV had been not just Perry Mason, but LA Law, and this demystified a lot of what goes on in the courtroom. Day, wall to wall, gavel to gavel, night, day, didn't matter. I would say, I'm not making this up, because a number of my appearances on television would be repeated in the middle of the night, sometimes twice or three times on various different shows. I must myself, a lowly law professor in Los Angeles, have been on TV explaining this stuff perhaps 2,000 times during the course of the two Simpson trials.
Well,
I mean, it was unbelievable, the amount of coverage, and the public. A lot of prosecutors told me they found it difficult to win cases, afterwards, because if the DNA evidence wasn't enough to convict OJ, how could this evidence, in this case, a criminal defense lawyer, be enough to convict my client?
2001 performances. You just added another one to your roster, sir. I'm grateful to you, Professor. Thank you very much indeed.